With the recent update to Photoshop Beta that just came out a few days ago, we're getting access to some new improvements to the quality of generative AI used, as well as easier ways to add it to your Photoshop workflow. The first thing I'm going to show you is Generative Fill with a reference example. In the current production of Photoshop, you can use Generative Fill just by making a selection and typing in the prompt. Now, in the latest beta version, in the contextual taskbar, you're going to see a new button called Reference Image. So if you don't see your contextual taskbar, come up to the top to your Windows menu and make sure contextual taskbar is checked. So I'm going to use my lasso tool and I'm going to make a selection around this bag, roughly something like this. And now here is the Generative Fill contextual taskbar. And you can click and type in something in the prompt, or there's this new button called Reference Image. So if I click on that, and it's going to ask me to choose an image that I want to use. So I'm going to choose an image on my computer, and I'm going to say Open, and I'm going to click on Generate. As usual, Photoshop gives us 3 variations, and you can click on the ones to see which ones you like. They're actually all pretty good. The AI will use the reference image as a design sample, not an exact copy. And just as before, you can click Generate to generate some more variations if you don't like any of these. The next thing I want to show you is how you can actually generate an image from scratch. In the next update, the new version of Firefly 3 is used to generate text to image. So I have a new document here, and there's going to be 3 ways that you can actually generate an image. In the contextual toolbar, here it says Generate Image. On the menu bar on the left, you have an icon here, and at the top in the Edit menu, it says Generate Image. So now let's use this dedicated option to generate an image from scratch. We're going to use the contextual taskbar. I'm going to click on Generate Image, and it opens a separate dialog box that is just like the Firefly website. In the prompt up here, I'm going to type in 2 tigers in the jungle. And for a content type, you can either do art or photo. Let's do photo. Under style, you can select a reference image, or you have effects. In the effects, you have all these different effects and themes, all these things you can try. Right here where it says popular, I'm going to choose the bokeh effect. And under themes, I'm going to choose cinematic. Under the selected button, when you click on that, it shows you what effects that you have selected from the effects panels. Then click Generate. And here are the variations that were generated. They look pretty nice. It does have the bokeh effect, the cinematic effect also, and that is generated an image from scratch. So here is another one of those workflow improvements. And this is for removing and replacing the background. So you can do this technically in Photoshop in production, but this makes it a little bit easier. When you do it in Photoshop currently, it requires a few extra steps. So let me show you how you can do this. So you can see here, I have a stock photo of a woman running on the beach. Now say we want to change the background and have her running in the forest. So now the process is going to be a lot easier. Down here in the contextual taskbar, I'm going to click Remove Background, and Photoshop does a great job of removing the background. You can also see that this layer mask has been created, so that's also really convenient if you have to paint in some of the original image. But now you have this Generate Background button. So again, it just streamlines the workflow. And I click on Generate Background, and I'm just going to type path through the forest. And click Generate. And here are the variations. I think I like the first one. This one is pretty good too, but I'm going to go with this one. And notice how the shadow of her leg is on the path. There's shadows from the trees. The colors match. The lighting matches. That's pretty good. I'm going to get rid of the ones that I do not like and just keep this one. Notice on my variation here on the left of this thumbnail, there is a button. That is to enhance details. So if I click on that, it's enhancing the detail. I zoom in here a little bit. It's undo enhance detail, redo enhance detail, and you can see that there's some change in the detail in the background. So you can apply this enhanced detail to any of the variations just by clicking on that icon over there. When you apply the enhanced detail, you'll see that it's grayed out so that you can't do it again. Another thing you can do is there's an ellipse here, or 3 dots, whatever you want to call it. If I click on that, it says Generate Similar. So I'm going to click on that. Let's see what happens. So it created something similar. So here's the original, and it's basically the same. It's very similar. It's not as, say, drastic as the regenerate of the variations. They're just similar. Something else that is new in the beta version is the adjustment brush. Here on the left, I have my adjustment brush tool, and down here in the contextual taskbar, you have all the adjustments that you used to go to at the bottom of the layers panel. I'm going to use levels. I'm going to select that, and I have a brush, and in the contextual toolbar, I can modify the brush size and hardness. I'm going to use a soft round brush, and I'm just going to brush lightly, making these areas that are already a little bit brighter. And you can see in the layers panel, I have a levels adjustment that it created for me and a mask, and I can also refine my properties like I was able to before. This just makes it easier for your workflow as far as the number of steps or clicks that you're going through to get to this point. I can choose hue and saturation, and if I wanted to increase the saturation of these areas here, and so you can do that with all these other adjustments here that are available. It's just that now it is in the contextual toolbar, and it does some of the steps up front for you to get to that point where you want to use it. I hope you found this video helpful and learned something new. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tutorials on Photoshop. Remember, it's never too late to learn. Thanks for watching.